Hi, and welcome to today's edition of Living with Vision Loss. I'm Michelle Benzakowski, and eleVIVO is our supporter for this episode. So I'd like to introduce to you a really interesting fellow in Southern California, Mr. Reynold Chen. Hi, Reynold, how are you today?
For having me. Yes, hello everyone. Glad to be here with everyone.
So, I'd like to start with is, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey with low vision?
Sure. I could go over that. So for me, my low vision journey started probably I would pinpoint it at the sort of senior year of college. So before that, I was just a regular kid. Um, the only thing I needed was glasses, and then that would fix the issue. But I guess for some reason during senior year of college, I it's a funny thing. I got into a car accident and I was trying to go get my M1 license because my friends we want to be part of the in crowd. So I was trying to get my M1 so I could get a motorcycle and ride with my friends because that was the thing that we were into at that time. So instead of getting my M1, I got into an accident, and then I kept saying, "Oh, it's because of the sun," and I couldn't see the car, and it was a pretty big car. It was a Yukon, I think a GMC Yukon.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So it was a pretty big car that I missed, and and so that led into going to the eye doctor, saying, "Oh, do I need some stronger prescription glasses or whatnot?" So, but then they started to see something odd. So at first they thought it was maybe cataracts. Maybe I need to do something with that. And then they started keep going up, refer me up the ladder to a retinal specialist. So in the beginning, they thought maybe it was Stargardt.
Mhm.
And then finally they came back and said, no, I think you have RP, which is retinitis pigmentosa. Well, diagnosed with retina pigmentosa, and so the doctors said, hey, we don't know how long uh, you have with your sight, because with RP, it's really different with everyone. Some people can go their whole lifetime just staying the same, staying the status quo. Some people lose their eyesight within a few years. So at that time, even though I could see, I was still considered a high partial. It was still
Mhm.
hard to accept because you you have this already someone telling you that your sight is going to be lost.
Mhm.
And the worst part is that they couldn't give you a timeline. So
Mhm.
you're sort of stuck in limbo where like when is it going to happen? Will it happen? And it was hard to digest because growing up growing up I didn't learn the skills to cope with such a thing. I don't think maybe many people don't learn to
Mhm.
cope with things. Maybe we cope with say, hey, if we broke our arm or you know walk it off, right? I could cope with that. But the thing was something like, oh, you're losing sight. That was sort of like, oh, something hard for me to sort of understand. And at that time, I was also graduating college, and I felt my whole world was in front of me. But what would happen if I can't see? Because I I don't know anyone that was blind. I never have experience with that. I just thought if you can't see, your life was sort of would come to an end. Sort of what was the point of living? And I was also studying computer science, so I really needed my eyes to do programming. I wanted to be a video game designer slash programmer because I was playing a lot of video games, and that's what I wanted to go into. But that's such a visual industry.
Mhm.
We're dealing with graphics, and programming with a computer. So I thought that avenue would be lost to me. So I spent a lot of time digesting this news that I had. So it wasn't easy for me. I spent a lot of time being depressed, moping around. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't even want to get a job. Even when my friends offered, like, hey, they're leaving their position, they could put in a good word for me. And this was, I remember he was working, I think he was interning at least, and in a one of those defense companies.
Mhm.
So it would have been a really good position to sort of get my foot in the door, but I sort of blew it off because I felt like I can't do this. I can't do anything. Like, why even try? You know, a lot of my thoughts circled around suicide, like, because what am I good for? I felt like a burden to my family. I felt like I'll never aspire to anything. So I even tried to commit suicide. So that's where I was sent to the hospital for that, to the mental institution to sort of learn to cope with my feelings and my emotions because I really could not do it myself. And even after that, it still took a while. I think it took a change of scenery, actually, because at that time, my parents didn't know what to do. You know, they did their, of course, you know, all parents try to do their best, but sometimes they just don't know what to do. And we can't blame them for that. And I think I spent a lot of time blaming, like, oh, why did you give me these bad genes? Because RP is hereditary. And then why am I like this? You know, if I can only see, life would be better. And so a lot of those thoughts. So I guess my parents coming from Taiwan, so they said maybe a change of scenery. They took me back to Taiwan. I was originally born in California, so but my parents are from Taiwan, so they thought maybe a change of different scenery, just walk around, breathe some different air, maybe that clear your head or something. Uh, and that's what I did. I still spent maybe a year moping around, still didn't want to do anything. And then, but I think what helped me get out of my funk was I learned about the transportation system in Taiwan, and very it's more convenient than at least here in California. They have like a subway called the MRT. They have a bus system that goes everywhere. They even have taxi services that's relatively cheap if you compare it to here in the States, where it seems like it costs you an arm and a leg just to go anywhere, even if it's just like a short distance. It seems
Mhm.
like you got to mortgage your house or something.
Yeah, Uber does that. I think Uber has owned some of my friends' houses.
Right, exactly. So, but over there is relatively cheap. So I felt like because the biggest thing, going back, the biggest thing that I felt I lost was my mobility. Because
Mhm.
when I remember how I said I was trying to get my M1, instead of getting an M1, I actually, after getting diagnosed with RP, you know, shortly after I lost my license because I didn't get because of the accident, I didn't get to do the mail-in renewal, which
Mhm.
I would have done. So I have to
Mhm.
go into the office, and when you go into the office, right, they test you
Yeah.
and they do the vision test, and that's where I couldn't pass.
Mhm.
So I even tried to come back a sentence. Oh, I didn't bring my glasses, and try to like have my friend take a picture of the charts so I can memorize it. But that didn't work because I found they change the chart sometimes, or they don't tell you exactly what chart or what row to look at. Um, so long story short, I still didn't pass. So my license was not renewed. So I lost the ability to drive. And in California, it's like a big hit. It's like losing your legs. You can't walk anymore. You can't go anywhere. You can't go out with your friends. You can't you can't go out to do any activities. It feels like going to work was like a chore itself because you just couldn't go anywhere. So if you can't go anywhere, naturally you feel like you can't do anything. So I
Mhm.
guess in Taiwan, when I found out, oh, the transportation is so convenient, it felt like I got a little part of my life back. I was able to
Mhm.
go out, meet some new friends, go to places that I wanted to go, um, the only downfall was, I guess, my next obstacle in life would be getting a job. So, like everyone else, I need to make a living. I need to pay for bills. I need to pay for those taxi rides, whether they're cheap or not. Right? So, in Asia, it's of course they everyone tries not to discriminate, but still the stigma is if you can't see, you can't do anything. They'll be nice to you at the restaurant, give you some extra food, sit you down at a more convenient table. They'll help you cross the street and all that, right?
Mhm.
But when it comes to trying to do something, do a task, especially an important task, no one trusts you that you can do it. No one believes in you that you can do it. So it was a really tough hill battle to even find work in that aspects in when I was in Taiwan. So so that led me to, okay, I really have to come back to the States, come back to California because um, as much as I hated the transportation situation here in California, the United States has better resources when it comes to people with disabilities. So I came back, I got signed up with the Department of Rehab, and they not only help with people with vision impairment or blindness, they also help with all different kinds of disabilities as well. But for me, they helped me get some training in orientation, how to use a cane. They also helped me learn how to use assistive technology. So right now, I use screen readers as well as my iPhone, which has voiceover, sort of a text to speech assistive devices. They also give you try to get you some assistive devices that would help you perform some work tasks. So, and they also help you try to place you in jobs, different resources in that aspect. For me, I chose the route of the Business Enterprise Program, which federally is known as the Randolph-Sheppard program. This is where the visually impaired blind people can go through training, and then after the training, they can operate food service operations in different government buildings. So for me, I specialize in vending machines, so vending services, uh, different buildings that I operate vending services in are post offices, courthouses, state buildings, roadside rest stops, even prisons. So they gave me an opportunity to do that. It's sort of like operating your own small business. And because I really always wanted to do business, I really have an entrepreneurial heart. I really wanted to do something where I could be my own boss and call the shots.
Understood.
But it's also some, I enjoy. To be honest, sometimes I feel like as a boss, your job is to manage personalities and put out fires. So
Mhm.
that's what I problem solve basically. So I really enjoy that. So that's the program I'm in right now. That's what I started with in my career, and that's what I still do right now. And also, it gives me some flexibility in my time because I'm a single dad, so I raise my son who's autistic, and it's it does that does require some time. So that's also why I chose the program. Being self-employed, sometimes you get the flexibility of time if you choose so, right? Before I had my son, I was really working 24/7, 7 days a week. So I was really running and gunning. But now that I have someone to responsibilities, I really want to spend a little more time with him um, and just hopefully um, raise him right. So that's sort of me as of in my current situation right now. And
I think your
yeah.
son's very lucky to have a dad like you.
Oh, thank
I
you so
really
much.
do.
Yeah.
So what do you do for fun?
Well, funny you should ask. I remember, I actually do sports for fun. So it's really funny because when growing up, I was not into sports. Oh, I wish I was able to play sports because I really was uncoordinated. Uh, I couldn't even
Me
catch
too.
a basketball.
Me too.
The
I feel you.
biggest, yeah, the biggest ball I couldn't even like. Maybe like the baseball you can understand, but when it comes to even the big orange ball, I was like, oh, yeah, like um, I, that's why when I remember playing with my friends, it's like, oh, just stand here under the rim and just raise your hand. Just don't let anyone shoot. Just just be in front of people. That's it. We'll do the scoring. That's all. Uh,
Oh,
but
I was
um,
that kid too.
but um, but now I feel it's a different environment than I am. I actually participate in Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, as
Mhm,
well as sometimes if I have the time, and if logistic permits, I also go play some blind golf.
mhm.
And I found that there's actually a lot of sports activities for the blind that I didn't even know. You don't really think of these things because you're all, when you're losing your sight, you're just focused on what I cannot do versus what I can do. And it took a long time to adjust to have that mindset of focus on what you can do, be appreciative of what you still have. So, uh, so when it came to sports, um, there's so many sports that there we still can do as a blind. Of course, it's adaptive. There's blind there's blind soccer. There's blind baseball. Um, there's I heard someone said blind hockey as well.
Mhm.
There's and then there's all these different other swimming is also a good one. But it's funny how I came about sports is because I was looking for sports for my son to do, some sort of group activity that he could join other kids, social recreation. And I ended up finding some sports that I can do. The only drawback, again, is transportation because a lot of these, I live in LA County and it's a big county.
Mhm.
And sometimes going from one end of the county to the other end of the county is a trek in itself. And many times it's a long car ride. What I use is the paratransit ride. Over here in California, they call it the Axis. So these paratransit ride is a share ride program. So going from point A to point B can take up to twice or even three times as long as just a regular drive because we're in between. You're picking up and dropping off people at the same time. So, but for me, being that I have a business to run as well as a son to take care of, I can't spend 3 or 4 hours on a one-way trip to go do some sports activity. So unfortunate. So I really try to do things that are close by, and sometimes close by, I have to do sports that are maybe more in a solo where I don't need to go out and find a team because with some of these sports you do need to go and play with a team or with a facility that's set up for it. Say blind soccer, go ball, even hockey or baseball. You really need to go out there. It's not just you go to the park and that's it, right? Couple guys go in the park and there you go. So for me, that's why I chose uh, jiu-jitsu because I could go to the local gym or near my house, and then I could just uh, learn some techniques and spar with the other guys. And I really enjoy it because we spar in 5 minute intervals. And I always say those 5 minutes, it's very precious to me whether I'm getting beat up or not. It's because for that 5 minutes, I feel almost normal, like I'm equal with everyone else. Like I'm sparring with my buddy, with my friend, and with my training partner, and there's no holding back. We're just at the same level, course, they could be higher belt than me, but that's a different story. But we're just sort of on the mat and we're just doing the same thing, enjoying the same sport. And there's nothing about, oh, you can't do this. They and then I feel that moment really gives you that alleviates, really helps you really accept that that I'm still alive, that I'm still present, that I'm still capable. So, and it's even like a global thing. Like I could go anywhere. I could go from here to New York. Any gym that I could roll it, it's the same. I even go to back sometimes when I go back to visit friends in Taiwan. I roll there. I even compete there with other sighted people because we're just all equal. It's almost like when you go play a pickup game at the park, a pickup game of basketball at the park. It really doesn't matter where you're from, what background you are. Just say, hey, you want to play? And then let's grab a ball, and then they start playing. It's the same thing in jiu-jitsu for me. It really, I really really got into it because it felt like it's almost like that idea that I could go anywhere and be equal, even if it's just 5 minutes of my day.
I understand
So,
completely.
yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. There is one more thing that we need to talk about, and that would be a YouTube channel that I heard a little birdie told me that you have started. So
Yeah.
can we have more
Yeah.
on your YouTube channel?
Sure. Yes. I love sharing about it. We just started it just recently. Me and my friend Vic. It's called the Angry Asian Uncle Podcast.
I love
Um,
that.
Well, of course, Asians, because me and my friend were both Asians and we're both guys. So we use the uncle because uh, in the Asian culture, at least in Taiwan, everyone's when you're a guy, you're just deemed as an uncle, whether you have kids or nephews or nieces or not. You're just deemed an uncle. Um, and then, of course, angry because we needed to add a little edge, but it's really to sort of encompass our mindset when we started. It's because both of us have some sort of disability. For me, it's my eyesight. For him, it's his chronic pain. But it's something where we encompasses what our show started out as is just sort of an outlet for us to vent our frustrations, to rant, brainstorm, discuss things, whether that bothers us or not. Some struggles that we're going through is almost therapeutic for us. But as we got into more episodes, we thought it would be fun to have different guests on to share their sort of beliefs, their struggles, their passion as well. So we're not just it's not all about us complaining. So if you look at the title, it's not just us being angry all the time. We do like to share and educate as well, bring awareness to things, as well as share different stories about people.
Mhm.
And of course, we always try to leave everyone with a positive note, so a positive takeaway at the end of each episode. So yeah, if you guys have a chance, please tune in to the Angry Asian Uncle podcast. You'll find it on YouTube, as well as Spotify, and I believe it's on Amazon Music as well, if Amazon Music is working today.
Awesome. I'm going to go and subscribe as soon as we're done here. So I
Okay,
will drop a link
thank you.
in the comments so that you guys know where it is, and you can go and check out my friend Reynold and his podcast too. Thank you so much for joining us today, and everybody have the best day ever. Thanks a lot.